I don't know how many videos it's going to take myself or Lisa Cabrera, True Oil Family, Harvey Superboy, Nicole's View, or plenty of others who talk about the stuff that we do before y'all realize that there is an element in this world, not just American society, but this world that prides itself on being bathed in evil, and they cannot help themselves. They do it to get a rise out of people. They do it for attention. But I think it's come to the point where now I think they need to do it and get an ass. Sorry about that little bell in the background. I was currently uploading the video, but back to what I was saying. They cannot help themselves. It's almost like they are wanting to get an ass whooping, and then they'll have the nerve to try to hide behind freedom of speech, or they'll try to say reverse racism or any other thing to try to shield them for what should happen to them. Now, what you're looking at is a picture of 3 palm-colored devils that I'm sure comes from a long lineage of them, taking a picture in front of the already mangled memorial for Emmitt Till. Now, for those of you who do not know, Emmitt Till's birthday was July 25th. He was born July 25th, 1941. Had he still been alive, that man would be in his 80s right now. 80s or late 70s. He was murdered at the age of 14. And that memorial right there is where his body was recovered. Now, for years, they have constantly had to erect or re-erect his memorial because it always got messed with. Even in death, this boy could not get any rest. They had to constantly mess with his memorial. That just shows you the mindset of people even to this day. And we're dealing with this generation, this crop of demons. You're looking at 3 of them in this picture. Now, these 3 individuals are part of this fraternity that took this picture in front of the sign that already had bullet holes in it. And all 3 of them are part of this fraternity. Now, I'm going to go ahead and read this article because it said that they actually got hit with some civil rights charges. 3 students were suspended from their fraternity house Kappa Alpha after we shared an Instagram photo one of the men posted that was taken in front of a sign commemorating the murder of a 14-year-old black youth in 1955. They had the nerve to post this image on his birthday. Now, just imagine if we went to one of their favorite people who we don't give a damn about, like say Elvis, and just started vandalizing his home, Graceland, where I'm sure he's did a lot of debauchery things up in there, and posted it up on social media on his birthday. Like say, fuck Elvis, the king of who? Or just say Michael Jackson is the real king of pop and he had your daughter. Now what? Or one of those precious statues. And speaking of those statues, isn't it amazing how they were saying that's a violation of freedom of speech or whatever they want to, whatever amendment they want to say, want to cry and bitch about that day. But when it comes to our memorials of our people like Emmitt Till, it's okay. It's violating the First Amendment right. I swear they hold on to that First Amendment right like it's a code of honor, a coat of arms, I should say. And they'll never let go of it. As a matter of fact, they abuse the hell out of it. Let me continue. 3 University of Mississippi students have been suspended from the fraternity house and face possible investigation by the Department of Justice after posing with guns in front of a bullet-riddled sign honoring the slain civil rights icon Emmitt Till. One of the students posted a photo to his private Instagram account in March, showing the trio in front of a roadside plaque commemorating the site where Till's body was recovered from the Tallahatchie River. The 14-year-old black youth was tortured and murdered in August 1955. An all-white, all-male jury acquitted 2 white men accused of the slaying. The photo, which was obtained by the Mississippi Center for Investigative Reporting and ProPublica shows an Ole Miss student named Ben LeClaire holding a shotgun while standing in front of a bullet pock sign. His Kappa Alpha fraternity brother John Lowe squats below the sign. A third fraternity member stands on the side with an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle. The photo appears to have been taken at night, the scene illuminated by lights from a vehicle. LeClaire posted the picture on Lowe's birthday on March 1st with the message, "One of Memphis's finest and the worst influence I've ever met." Neither LeClaire nor Lowe responded to repeated attempts to contact them. It is not clear whether the fraternity students shot the sign or are simply posing before it. The sign is part of a memorial effort by the Emmitt Memorial Commission, a Mississippi civil rights group, has been repeatedly vandalized, most recently in August 2018. And you know what? I think I actually did a video about that. Till's death helped propel the modern civil rights movement in America. 5 days after LeClaire posted the photo, a person who saw it filed a bias report to the university's Office of Student Conduct. The complaint pointed out there may have been a fourth person present who took the picture. The photo was on Instagram with hundreds of likes and no one said a thing, said the complaint, a copy of which was reviewed by the Mississippi Center for Investigative Reporting and ProPublica. "I cannot tell Ole Miss what to do. I just thought it should be brought to your attention." The photo was removed from LeClaire's Instagram account after the Mississippi Center for Investigative Reporting and ProPublica began contacting fraternity members and friends. It had received 274 likes. Kappa Alpha suspended the trio on Wednesday after the news organizations provided a copy of the photo to fraternity officials at Ole Miss. The fraternity, which honors Confederate General Robert E. Lee, that's no surprise, as its quote-unquote spiritual founder on its website, has a history of racial controversy, including an incident in which students wore blackface at a Kappa Alpha-sponsored Halloween party at the University of Virginia in 2002. The photo was inappropriate, insensitive, and unacceptable. It does not represent our chapter, Taylor Anderson, president of Ole Miss Kappa Alpha Order, wrote in an email. "We have and we will continue to be in communication with our national organization and university." How much you want to bet what they're going to do is when they do their next intake, they're going to try to see if they can find as many black men as they can find to try to cover this up. That's just their style. After viewing the photo, U.S. Attorney Chad Lamar of the Northern District of Mississippi in Oxford said the information has been referred to the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division for further investigation. "We will be working with them closely." And see, this is where these three individuals shot themselves in the foot. Even if they didn't shoot up this sign, the fact that they have guns in the picture makes it look like they did. That's why I don't buy into this whole high IQ thing when it comes to them, because many of them are as dumb as a bag of rocks in a plastic bag. It says university officials called the photo offensive and hurtful. University spokesman Rod Guajardo acknowledged that an Ole Miss official had received a copy of the Instagram picture in March. The university referred to the matter of the university to police department, in which turned it over to the FBI. Guajardo said the FBI told police it would not further investigate the incident because the photo did not pose a specific threat. Typical of them too. Guajardo said that while the university considered the picture offensive, the image did not present a violation of the university's code of conduct. He noted the incident depicted in the photo occurred off campus and was not part of a university affiliated event, but they're still attached to your school. But it doesn't surprise me, because if they had a blackface event there and it sounds like they didn't do anything then I know they wouldn't say anything about this. "We stand ready to assist the fraternity with education opportunities for those members in the chapter." Here they go again. They do this every time. Whenever something racial happens, they always got to have something where they have to do some kind of training on how not to be a racist. Palm Colored, if you're listening to this video, and you probably are, there's no way that we're going to extract the racism out of you, no matter how much or how hard you train to get it out of you. It's just there. It's practically flowing through your bloodstream. It's in your DNA. Accept it. All it takes is for the right incident to bring it out. He said the university will continue to build programs to engage students in a deliberate, honest, and candid conversations, while making clear that we unequivocally reject attitudes that do not respect the dignity of each individual in our community. Since the sign was erected in 2008, it has been the object of repeated animosity. Vandals threw the first sign in the river. The second sign was blasted with 317 bullets or shotgun pellets before the Emmitt Till Memorial Commission officials removed it. The third sign featured in the Instagram photo was damaged by 10 bullet holes before officials took it down last week. A fourth sign designed to better withstand attacks is expected to be installed soon. They had to go through 3 signs in 11 years. That just shows you the staunch hatred they, like I said, that they have for this boy who has been deceased for over 60 years. Like I said, if that is not hatred, I don't know what is. Like how do you have hatred that deep for someone you don't even know? Because many of them don't know who this is. They only know it probably because their parents told them about it and probably filled it with a bunch of lies anyway. It says, news of the suspensions and referral to the Justice Department came as Till's cousin, Deborah Watts, co-founder of the Emmitt Till Legacy Foundation, was already planning a moment of silence Thursday to honor her cousin with a gathering of supporters and friends dressed in black and white in a silent yet powerful protest against racism, hatred, and violence. Thursday is Till's birthday. Had he lived, he would have been 78 years old. And it says, this is not the first time Ole Miss fraternity has been caught up in an incident involving an icon from the civil rights movement. In 2014, 3 students from the Sigma Phi Epsilon fraternity house placed a noose around the neck of a statue on campus of James Meredith, the first known black student to attend Ole Miss. They also placed a Georgia flag of the past that contains the Confederate battle emblem. Like I said, this is exactly why I didn't feel bad when them statues came down a couple years ago, which pretty much led to the whole thing with Charlottesville. That is exactly why now I don't feel bad for them. I really don't feel bad for them when a lot of stuff happens anyway, but yeah, let me continue. According to federal prosecutors, the freshman students hatched the plan during a drinking fest at the house, where one student disparaged African Americans, saying this act will create a sensation. It's James Meredith, people will go crazy. See what I mean? That goes back to what I was saying, they doing it for attention. One pleaded guilty and received 6 months in prison for using a threat of force to intimidate African American students and employees because of their race or color. And they like to say that we're going to incite a race war. You see what he just did right there? That's exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to get something started. But we're the divisive ones. Another student pleaded guilty. He received probation and community service after he cooperated with the FBI, and the third man was in charge. All 3 students withdrew from Ole Miss, and the Sigma Phi Epsilon fraternity's national headquarters shuttered its chapter on the Ole Miss campus after its own investigation, blaming the closing on behavior that included hazing, underage drinking, alcohol abuse, and failure to comply with the university and fraternity's code of conduct. But then again, Ole Miss is in Mississippi, so that doesn't surprise me in the least bit. That, along with Alabama and a few other states, are still stuck in Jim Crow. And it doesn't surprise me with Alabama, seeing as how they rank number 50 out of 50 in education, which means there are a lot of dummies who live and come out of that state. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this story down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I will talk to you in the next one.